Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Jeezy TV. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the other guys. Now, when people talk about great Will Ferrell comedies, they always bring up Anchorman, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, maybe Elf if you're feeling festive. Now, I think I've covered all of those movies except Elf, but honestly, the other guys deserves to be in that conversation every single time. Of course, it's not saying a lot because every Will Ferrell movie is good. This might be one of his best, though. This movie is absolutely hilarious, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. One of those films where every 5 minutes there's another joke, another running gag, another ridiculous character interaction that somehow lands. And the craziest part, it's not even really a spoof. A lot of people might try to paint it as that. It kind of has a Naked Gun type of style. I disagree though. It pokes fun at buddy cop movies, action movies, macho police stereotypes, but underneath all the insanity, there's actually a pretty solid crime story involving financial corruption, corporate fraud, and one of the most surprisingly intelligent plots I've seen in comedy. There's actually something to this thing. This thing's got some meat and potatoes, baby. We're gonna get into it now. But getting into the setup, getting into the premise, follows two overlooked NYPD detectives. Well, they're not really detectives. Will Ferrell plays a character by the name Alan Gamble. He's basically an accountant with a badge. He's an accountant that works in the office, and if on the off chance they need him, he has to be trained and ready to go. Of course, he probably went through some sort of academy to get into this, but he's very much not ready for the battle. It's such an interesting dynamic. You never really think of the accountants in a police office being ready for battle. And obviously, you get into Terry Hoyts, who is Mark Wahlberg's character, and I have to say, we will get into it in a second, but these two as a comedic duo, it's an all-timer. It's one of the best ever. It's up there with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. It's up there with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, and that just attests to the greatness of Will Ferrell having two amazing counterparts throughout his career. Now, obviously, Terry is the disgraced detective who accidentally shot Derek Jeter and has never heard the end of it. The Yankee Clipper, one of the funniest fucking nicknames I've ever heard. While everyone else worships superstar cop Damon and Highsmith, Alan and Terry are stuck doing paperwork. But then a routine investigation uncovers something bigger. The two other guys suddenly find themselves at the center of the action. Given that, Damon and Highsmith, played by Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock, by the way, this cast is star-studded, they die. Kind of in a freak accident. But from there, the movie is just pure comedy gold. We're about to get into why. So getting into the good, we just have to state the obvious, and I know these videos seem kind of templated and I talk about the same things over and over, but it is fine because a lot of these movies are formulaic in the same way and work equally as good. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg are phenomenal together. Like I said, they are one of the best comedic duos I have ever seen in a movie. Ferrell is doing what he does best, obviously. Will Ferrell is still very true to his original style, taking a completely normal looking character and making him hilariously abnormal with how normal he is, if that makes sense. Alan Gamble is technically boring. You know, he goes to work every day, does paperwork, literally sits there smiling, humming tunes. He's one of the biggest NPCs you'll see. Goes home to a banging hot wife. The movie goes on, things get revealed about him, and it's awesome. He's an accountant. He drives a fucking rundown Prius. He follows the rules. He has to carry a wooden gun because he's scared to go into battle. Somehow, he is probably the funniest character in the entire movie. I can't really see any other character that holds as much comedic weight in any movies that they're in when they basically have to go toe-to-toe with Will Ferrell. Meanwhile, Mark Wahlberg plays Terry perfectly. I think both of these guys work together, and when two characters are played to their archetype, and when two characters do exactly what they are meant to do in a movie, it's great, and that's why this is one of the best duos ever. You see Daddy's Home. They've been in plenty of other movies together. He's exactly the type of guy you'd expect to be the star of a traditional buddy cop movie. He's normally what that would be, but he's kind of cast to the side. He's aggressive, he's confident, he's macho, he's constantly angry, and he's kind of shaming Will Ferrell for living this lifestyle. Like, why are you so fucking lame? You sit at your computer and type. We want to be that guy. We want to be top of the department. You're supposed to climb rank. That's the whole reason you become a police officer. He's forever haunted by the fact he shot Derek Jeter. He made one big career mistake, which obviously if you shot a professional baseball player and one of the best Yankees, one of the best baseball players ever in real life, you probably wouldn't have a fucking job anymore. The Yankee Clipper jokes are fucking amazing. We'll get into some of the comedy maybe specifically here in a second. There's so much to talk about this movie in terms of how funny it is. Every single time they talk about the Yankee Clipper, oh look, the guy that shot Derek Jeter's here to see you. It's fucking funny, man. The chemistry between these two, I think it's absolutely what makes the movie work. There's conflict, jealousy, friendship, and just enough stupidity between them to create non-stop comedy. Neither character works as well without the others. And again, just getting into the running gags, I do think that is a pretty big kind of technique that this movie employs. Dirty Mike and the boys, you know, the homeless guys, every time the Prius gets towed mode. They get in there, the Prius, it's just so run down. People fuck it up. They keep wrecking it into shit. It is so funny. And they have this stupid little police siren on the top of it. It is hilarious, man. The wooden gun. You want the wooden gun too? It's so funny. The Yankee Clipper. So many moments. Will Ferrell's character kind of being a pimp in his heyday, back when he was in college and he was looking to make money to pay tuition. And even though he probably didn't act like this in college, he picks up this persona as Gator and starts saying some ridiculous shit. I swear those are some of the best dialogue moments of the movie, is when he's just talking like a pimp. It's so funny. Every single one of them lands. Like the Prius, the replacement door, they're driving around in the Prius and they have like plaster in it, and then eventually he gets a shitty miscolored door. We all know someone that drives around with one of those. It's just a fucking shitty car. Oh my god, it is so fucking funny. And they run over the body at the crime scene, and then the car gets covered with cocaine, and someone like takes their finger, sniffs it off the car. Every time things showed up, it's ridiculous. One of the funniest recurring jokes I've ever seen in comedy is Pretty Mike and the Boys. But getting into The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, because obviously they aren't a big part of the film, so I kind of want to get them out of the way. They deserve their own section though. What an unbelievable fake out. The movie spends the opening acting like they're the main characters and they're just going to be the badasses, and to an extent I kind of wish they sticked around in the entire movie, because I love those actors. They're kind of painted as the action heroes, the stars, the coolest guys in the room, and then aim for the bushes. There's no bushes. They just die. They go splat, and like in a dark comedic style, they flip right over and they're at their funeral. So I really enjoy that. I don't think I've ever seen a comedy movie burn through that much star power for one joke. It's actually insane. It's almost like they're flexing their muscle with this cast. You have Riggle. You have so many fucking people in this movie. It just works perfectly though, because they just go through fucking characters. There's cameos. Even their funeral becomes hilarious because everyone immediately starts fighting over who gets to replace them. There's a funny little sequence where they're kind of whispering to each other like, oh, you do that, I could have handled that. It's fucking hilarious. Damon Wayans is in this movie. I could go on and on. And just getting into the story, because a lot of people don't talk about it. I mean, most comedies use the plot as kind of an excuse for jokes. This movie actually is a solid crime story. You're talking about, I know I shouldn't take it this serious and be this critical of the comedy film, but I love talking about these things. There's financial fraud, corporate corruption, Ponzi schemes, government investigation. It's a pretty engaging concept of a movie. Without the comedy, this could be an action film. People that have to take over in a serious way. You can honestly imagine parts of the story working in a serious thriller. The difference is that Will Ferrell is running around with a rape whistle and a wooden gun. Oh my god, that is the funniest fucking scene in the movie. Him blowing the rape whistle. I gotta play that scene for you.
Oh look, he's flying!
And I mean, another good thing is just the cast is loaded. Now that seems like a cop-out, that seems like a Hollywood thing, but to me it was more seen as like a flexing of your muscles. Here, I'm Adam Mckay. I know all of these fucking actors. Everybody, man. We didn't really talk about some of these people. Eva Mendes, she's literally married to Ryan Gosling. You have Michael Keaton, who is Beetlejuice. Steve Coogan, who is in Tropic Thunder. Ray Stevenson, who's been in many films. Rosie Perez, I think, even makes an appearance. Everyone contributes something memorable. And I think Eva Mendes, his character as Sheila, is probably one of the funniest running gags I've seen in a movie. It's so fucking funny. Her involvement in her relationship, and the fact that Terry simply cannot comprehend that Alan is married to her, never stops being funny. Like the reactions, the confusion, asking her to be his best man, trying to hit on her, flirt with her. Every scene with her is fucking awesome. And again, Coogan is great as kind of an antagonist, even though they don't really shine a whole lot of light on him, just because this movie is mainly about Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. But this movie is awesome. I don't have a whole lot bad to say. Oh my god, there's not a lot more to talk about, so you can kind of just dumb it down. I mean, it's like an hour 45 of a film, and it's just a fun one. It's not something I can closely analyze. There's some decent action sequences and some choreography. Now, obviously, it doesn't really stack up to a movie like John Wick or that franchise, but there you go. So getting into the bad, there's really not much to talk about here, as with the okay. I mean, we can kind of touch base on a couple of things as we get into these sections, but a few jokes I guess don't land. The Kristineth stuff, I know they were trying to go for a gag there, and I know it was funny, and shout out to Burt Gelman, who's actually in this movie as well, and he's involved with that scene. Someone's gotta fuck my wife before I leave. I don't know if that's some sort sort of joke against an ethnic people. I don't know if it's because I didn't get it that I'm not really a huge fan of that sequence. It never worked as well for me as some of the other bits. My dad was kind of laughing, and obviously, as always, I watch these movies with my dad, so it's really cool to kind of get a couple of perspectives on what we're watching. A few inevitably miss. Obviously, this is kind of a rapid fire movie. Now, it's a lot better paced than a movie like Airplane. That's a lot better made. It's a lot more intelligent than a movie like that. But still, there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things you can miss, counting some of the ones I might miss talking about in this video, because I don't want to be here for 30 fucking minutes. I could do a whole stream recapping this movie. It's kind of expected. When you're attempting so many things, when you're attempting so many different styles of comedy, and when you employ a guy like Will Ferrell, who is one of the most versatile comedians of all time, this is kind of what you get. Again, some of the jokes are like, okay, what are we doing here? It's getting a little ridiculous. It's getting too much like Will Ferrell, even though I love the guy. So that's all I have to say. Getting into the okay, I guess I could kind of bring up the fact that this movie has a reputation as a spoof movie almost. Now, obviously, like the way it's marketed, its aesthetics, kind of the styles, it's not cartoony, it's not like some Looney Tunes bullshit, but I definitely don't agree to the fact that it is spitball or it is dummy comedy. It's not like that. There's some seriousness to it, there's some comedy to it, there's some character development, and there's some really fun moments here. And it has spoof elements. It pokes fun at all sorts of different movies, and there's cultural references, and there's even social commentary, and they kind of touch upon that when you roll the end credits and you see them talking about these stats about Ponzi schemes and trying to sort of bring in awareness to that type of thing. It's satirical, that's for sure. That's not going to count it as a spoof. I know those terms kind of get coincided with each other a lot of times when we're kind of discussing certain subgenres of comedy, but that's not it. I think it's more of a buddy cop comedy than a straight parody. I think you could almost see it as a funny version of Lethal Weapon, where the main characters are the outcasts, and it's definitely interesting. I like the concept of it. It definitely puts a comedy spin on cop movies. It's awesome. I really like it. I don't know how to keep explaining it more, but it's one of its biggest strengths. Like the story and the action and the investigation and all these things kind of matter in the movie. You're following these characters, you're rooting for them while laughing at their failures, and it's a really fun movie. I wouldn't say it's like super heartfelt or like emotional or personable or anything relatable in that sense, because this is a pretty niche situation if I'm being honest, but I like it. I really enjoy it. It's not just random nonsense happening for 90 minutes. It's not some directionless comedy where it's just gag after gag. I mean, it has a main purpose of making you laugh, but that's not the one and only thing that it is trying to do. The movie finds a great balance, you know, absurd comedy, storytelling. Adam Mckay is a really good director. Maybe not like in terms of critically and like Oscar-wise in the Academy, but he's awesome. Getting to the review, I'm just gonna put this straight up. The other guys, I know we've seen a lot of comedies on this channel, but it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Not because it's constantly trying to shock you, or it's relying entirely on gross humor, or it's parodying one specific thing, but it understands characters, chemistry, timing, everything that it takes to make a really good comedy movie. This is at the forefront of some of the greatest comedies of all time. Will Ferrell is an absolute comedic genius. Mark Wahlberg is the perfect straight edge man. The supporting cast is fantastic. The running gags are memorable. Action is actually kind of good. And the movie somehow manages to tell a genuinely interesting story while making me laugh every few minutes. I love that it has maturity to it. There's actual substance underneath the comedy. But at the same time, it's completely willing to give us something like a rape whistle, shooting your gun in the office, Dirty Mike and the Boys, Gator, and a bunch of grown adults obsessing over Derek Jeter and the Yankees. It's ridiculous, smart. It might be the best comedy up there with the Jump Street films and maybe Anchorman 2 in the 2010s, because it came out in an era where the comedies died out. One of Will Ferrell's best movies, one of Mark Wahlberg's funniest performances, and easily one of the funniest buddy cop comedies ever made. Not quite 21 Jump Street territory for me. It's right there in the conversation. A modern comedy classic. Given a 9.1 out of 10, this movie is fucking phenomenal. I love it. I don't really have much else to say. I know that you're not going to see the tier list for long, but leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, this has been your boy GZTV. I'm not really sure how long this video is going to be. I don't think it's really necessary for me to sit down and talk about this movie for 20 minutes, because just watch it for yourself. It's kind of something you have to experience for yourself. Go make sure you follow the socials. I have a couple of things to kind of close out the week for a vacation, and then we out of here for a week. Peace.